You know, it's funny, I never thought I'd be able to say I'm making a controversial Geometry Dash video, but I am. Oh, yeah. A lot of people are probably gonna get mad at me for saying that 9 Circles levels aren't that bad, but before I get into, like, the specifics of why I don't think they're that bad, maybe I should explain why. Just to make sure everyone knows what a 9 Circles level is. So let me cut to the footage of a 9 Circles level. 9 Circles levels always start with a cube section, which is always the easiest part of the level by a long shot. This also tends to be the shortest. In 9 Circles, it's only like 10 seconds long. And then it goes into a ship section, which has these weird slope structures with spikes. Normally they're pretty easy, but there is some examples that they're hard. Then there's the ball section that has a lot of these long slopes and bounce pads. This isn't in all of them. And then there's this, like, second cube section sometimes before the drop. The drop is always the longest part and is almost always nothing but wave, but with some exceptions. It's then either followed by cube memory section, just a repeat of the pre-jump, or straight fly. In the case of Sonic Wave and all of the other versions of Sonic Wave, it actually repeats the drop. Most people dislike 9 Circles levels because of the flashing effect. But in many cases, the flashing effect isn't intense at all. And there's really no reason, unless people have photosensitivity or other things related to issues with rapidly flashing lights, there's no reason for you to actually not be able to see what you're doing. Especially in levels like Sonic Wave Infinity or the rated Sakoopan Circles, which are they don't even look like 9 Circles levels. Like, the level shown right here, you're probably like, how is this even a 9 Circles level? Because it goes for this very cool, technological, blue, glowy space theme. It's so well decorated, like, it's just like, how is this even 9 Circles? Like, yeah, you can see some of the pulsing effect, but it's still pretty hard to see. But, like, the thing is, this isn't even the best example, because, in my opinion, Sonic Wave Infinity is one of the worst of these levels. I mean, the ending is literally like a credit screen that takes up like 15% of the level. Like, what the fuck is that? But the main thing that I want to talk about in this section is how iconic they are. Anyone who knows about Geometry Dash probably saw this and said, hey, that's Sonic Wave Infinity. Probably not out loud, because you don't need to say things out loud to realize them, but people probably knew it. Two of the best known 9 Circles levels are Silent Circles for its insane 32 CPS spam at the end, being one of the best known impossible levels, and Sonic Wave for its insane difficulty. It was one of the first, if not the first, rated level to have 60 Hz frame perfects. I'm pretty sure there's only 2, but it still had at least 1 or 2 60 Hz frame perfect. The introduction of 60 Hz frame perfects has been a staple in difficult levels until recently, when Natural Disaster was verified and rated, which has 120 Hz frame perfects. There's tons of other 9 Circles levels that are more notable than just Sonic Wave Infinity and Silent Circles, such as Sakoopan Circles, Aerial Gleam, 10th Circle, Generic Wave, Hyper Paracosm, and even some less popular ones like Fairy Dust Ultra Paracosm, or even Meth Death X. I bet you've never heard of that one. The other reason I like the 9 Circles effect is because a lot of the levels inspired some of the coolest levels ever. I mean, Sakupin Circles, the ship part has fucking particle effects that look so good. And, like, just overall some of the best decoration I've ever seen in a level. I mean, not the absolute best, but some of it. I mean, just look at this. Just look at this part right here, the drop. The effect is so cool. It has all of this glowy bit. It's not like just the, like, normal effect. It's so unique. It barely looks like a 9 Circles level. And the 66p, oh my god, it's just so clean looking. It's just so cool looking. It looks cool. And, like, even just the ending ship, like, look at this. Now, the difficulty of 9 Circles levels ranges greatly. The level shown right now is Rampant Circles, one of the most difficult 9 Circles levels ever made. It has insane, I believe 2000 CPS spam, plus 2 players, so it's more like 4000 CPS. And this is, again, the peak of the difficulty, so you know there's some much easier ones out there. The only 9 Circles level where you can actually barely see the gaps is Ultra Paracosm. But even then, I slowed this down so you can see how free the gaps are. I've literally seen tighter wave gaps in a 5-star level. It's so easy. The harder levels are easier to see in all of them, and the most difficult rated 9 Circles levels are in fact very easy to see in, such as Sakupin Circles, the rated version, and Sonic Wave Infinity. The gameplay is quite hard to defend, with the effect mixed with varyingly difficult wave gameplay can make for some brutal gameplay. Like the onslaught of 60Hz frame perfects in Sakupin Circles. When we start talking about impossible 9 Circles levels, the difficulty goes from insane to goofy, like Meth Death X's onslaught of 480Hz frame perfects and 15 CPS spam, or the humanly impossible spam of Silent Circles or Rampant Circles. Despite the gameplay, I think that 9 Circles are very valuable to the Geometry Dash community, making some of the most iconic, recognizable levels ever, and inspiring some of the best levels ever made, like Sakupin Circles, obviously the rated version. But if you disagree with this, I understand, and I want to hear your stance, because I don't really understand why people hate the 9 Circles effect so much.